historical movie, or just bull. Parent night at Brennan Theaters watching Hercules starring Dwayne Johnson. And that's pretty much all this movie's banking on is Dwayne Johnson. I love you, Rock. You're great. Stick to comedies. This was not your movie. This movie sucked. Oh my god, the whole entire time I was bored. This is what's the most baffling thing about this movie. It is an hour and a half. It felt like a 3-hour movie. There was no sustenance whatsoever. Everything that was awesome and cool was in the preview. I didn't care about any of the characters whatsoever. Literally, they could have slaughtered the whole entire whatever and been like, that sucks. Sets were, you know, I mean, I felt like most of the movie I was watching like the Lord of the Rings, the Lost film episode or whatever, because that's the vibe I was pulling off. Lots of, hey, we've got all this armor and it looks like we have 16 pieces, but yet we've got like 800 of you, and yet somehow they all have it. Call bullshit on that. Also, my biggest problem with this movie, I don't think in ancient Greece and all that stuff that they said and you know, they might have. I don't know. I wasn't there for the movie. It just takes away from it. You could actually stay at home and rent this on Redbox. All in all, I'm gonna give this movie a 5.5. It's just, it was bad. It was really bad. Horrible. And in fact, what I really wanted was more fights with the monsters. Like that, you're like, yeah. That lasted 2 seconds. You see what the other ancient historians had to think and say about Hercules. Let's check that out.
I thought this movie was absolute garbage. Poorly written, poorly acted. It takes forever setting up things in the beginning of the movie that don't pay off. The movie doesn't start for 40 minutes. It feels ridiculously long. It holds your hand the whole time. It's a movie that plays best to an empty audience.
It could have been a lot better. So if you're going in with a false illusion that it's going to be a mind-blowing movie with like depth characters that you care about, then that's just La La Land. But if you're looking for a really kind of action-packed movie that you can enjoy, then that'll be it.
I didn't really come in expecting a whole lot. When you watch the trailer, it's not really depth that it's selling, it's action that it's selling. While they did have a little more story than I was expecting, trying to go a different way with the whole Hercules story, it's definitely lacking in the actual depth department, like you would expect.
It was action-packed, but it was kind of you were expecting more, and they didn't give it. It was what I was looking at when I looked at the previews. I knew I was going to be seeing a movie with The Rock, which I like The Rock. If you guys want to see it because it's a Rock movie, go ahead and go see it. I'm going to say that, you know, come to Brendan Theaters and see this movie. It's worth your time if you're a Rock fan.
Considering I was going to an action movie starring The Rock, hopes weren't too high, so I can't say it disappointed. Pretty much what I thought it would be. My only real complaint about it is if you're going because you want to see a movie on Hercules without spoiling anything, you're not going to get what you want. But if you want to go for an action movie starring The Rock, you could do. He's done a lot worse. He really has done a lot worse.
Tooth Fairy.
The funny parts were really funny, and there were a few jabs at other Hercules franchises that I don't think anyone but me in the theater got.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give this bad boy and why?
I give it a 6.5.
Low 6, high 5.
So I'm going to give it a straight 5.
5 out of 10.
I would give this movie a 2 out of 10.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so already. And like this video, favorite it, share it, get it out there, spread the word. Curious to know, what is your favorite mythological beast that you would have loved to have seen Hercules fight, or did fight and was pretty awesome? Anyway, next week should be an amazing movie. Marvel's final little tidbit to the world when we see Guardians. And as always, we're letting you know before you go at Brendan Theaters.